Hi, first graders. I'm so happy to be seeing you today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about reading because something happened to me the other day and I wanted to tell you about it. So my grandma called me and we were talking about things we've been up to, and she asked me if I'd been reading any books. And I said, "Oh yeah, Grandma, I've been reading lots of books. I've been so busy." And she said, "Well, tell me about one." And I said, "Oops, I forgot." She said, "What do you mean you forgot? Just tell me a little bit about one of the books." And I couldn't think of what to tell her. I couldn't think of anything to say about my books. And I know that as a reader, one of the most important things you can do is talk about your books. And I know that you guys have been doing lots of different kinds of reading. Some of you might be reading in cozy spots at your house, maybe in your bed, on your couch, with your stuffed animals, with your brothers and sisters. Some of you might be doing reading online, on apps or on websites, and doing lots of cool reading. The thing about retelling and understanding your books is it doesn't matter what kind of book you're reading. It just matters that you understand and can talk to someone about your book. So it's so important to be able to retell your books. So today I want to teach you that first grade readers and all readers, even grown-ups, need to remember to retell their stories with the most important information. They do this by remembering the characters, the setting where the story is, the problem, the solution, and how the story ended. And when you remember those things, you'll be able to retell your story to someone who wants to know more about it. So let me share my screen and show you what I mean. All right. So this is what we already know about reading. We already know that we do some things before we read, like we take a sneak peek. That gets our mind ready for what's going to happen in the story. That way we're already starting to think of what's going to happen, so we'll be ready when it's time to retell. We also know that while we read, we need to keep track of important information. Sometimes we might need to keep track of where the character is, or maybe we'll have to keep track of what's happening over some time. So when things are happening, those things are clues that will help us when it's at the end of the book, after we're done reading and it's time to retell. When it's time to retell, there's 5 important things you're going to want to remember. That's why we use our hand to help us. The first thing we want to say when we retell is we want to mention who the main character is. Somebody. That's the first thing we say, somebody. And then we tell the person or whoever we're talking to what the character wanted or the goal or what they were trying to do. That kind of is what the story was all about, right? So first we say, who was the story mostly about? And then we say, what were they trying to do? Somebody wanted. Then every story has trouble. Every story has a problem. So we have to be able to retell what that problem was. That's usually a bummer for the character. Somebody wanted, but typically they do something to try and solve their problem. There's usually a solution. Sometimes there's more than one solution. Somebody wanted, but so what did they do to try and solve the problem? And then at the end, they'll say, then what happened? How did the story end? I'm going to read a book for you, and while I'm reading, I want you to be thinking about what these things are and how we might use them in our retelling. Who's the somebody? What did they want? But what was the problem? So what did they do? And then how did it end? Somebody wanted, but so then. Let's try it. I have a great book I can't wait to share with you, and it looks like this. It's called Jack and the Ball. Bella, look at my green ball, said Jack. Come and play ball with me. Bella looked at the green ball. Your ball is too little, said Bella. I'm not going to play with it. You can sense that might be some of the trouble, right? Jack might be our somebody. Are you paying attention? Somebody wanted, but so then. Rosie, look, here's my green ball, said Jack. Come and play with me. Rosie looked at the ball. Your ball is too little, said Rosie. I'm not going to play with it. Daisy, look at my green ball, said Jack. Is my ball too little? Daisy looked at the green ball. No, it is not too little. Did his problem get solved? Come on, let's play, said Daisy. And that's the end. So let's go back and look at how we want to retell our book. All right, so we have our character, somebody, wanted, but, so, then. All right, this is one way you might organize your thoughts with writing after you read. And when you write down your retelling, it really helps you remember what it is that you read. So let's try and use this to help us go part by part. Somebody. Who is the main person or character? Jack the dog. He was the main character. He was the one with the ball that he wanted to play with. Did I get ahead of us? I sure did. Jack wanted his friends to play with his ball with him. That was what he was trying to do the whole book. That's what it was mostly about. But he did have some trouble. Actually, two kinds of trouble. Rosie and Bella both thought it was too little, didn't they? So Jack the dog wanted his friends to play with his ball with him, but Rosie and Bella thought it was too little. So what did he do after that? Do you remember? He went and showed the ball to Daisy, right? He went to a different friend. Was his problem solved? How did the story end? Daisy wanted to play with the ball with him. And I want you to notice, first graders, that I didn't have to do a ton of writing. I just got to pop out those important words, somebody, wanted, but, so, then, and I just added the most important details that would answer those questions. Another way you might do this in your reading this week is you might write your somebody, wanted, but, so, then on this organizer, but you could add a picture in the box to show what it looked like in those important parts of the story. You could also use a first grade reading log to track the same things or these same things in a book over the whole week. So you'd be doing some rereading to help you retell. The more you reread a book, the better you get at retelling. You'd become a retelling expert. The last thing I want to tell you today is that I really want you to challenge yourself. I want you to challenge yourself to say more about your books after you're done reading. Don't forget that really important step that after you're done, you talk about your books and you really, really try and remember what happens. So now I know the next time my grandma calls me and she asks me what story or what my books have been about, I can remember somebody, wanted, but, so, then. And that will help me retell any story if I just remember those most important things. First graders, I hope you do some great reading. I can't wait to see what books you read and what they've been all about. Happy reading!